This would have been the early 70s or late 60s maybe. And there was gang stuff, and there was like shooting in the place, and they both ran to the service elevator at the same time to like hide and get away, and that's how they met. And they're like, "Oh, what's your name? What are you doing here?" And then they became friends, and they been making music and money ever since.
Man.
Inspired by the adventures of our nurses, therapists, and techs, A Beer with Atlas is the only healthcare traveling craft beer drinking podcast. Each week, we'll open a few beers, talk about the brewery and the style of beer, and then dive into some research curated specifically for each episode. In the end, we hope each one sounds like a conversation you'd have with your friends while enjoying a few cold ones.
Welcome to a special Rocky edition of A Beer with Atlas. I'm Rich.
I'm Brian.
No, okay, it's not Rocky. It's the beers from Philadelphia, so I got to go right to Rocky.
True.
Because I loved Rocky. I loved the Rocky movies.
Never seen one.
Are you kidding me?
Are you serious?
No, I'm not joking.
You've never... I think we've had this conversation. You've never seen a Rocky movie?
No.
Is it one of those things that you're boycotting again?
Kind of.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But
why? I guess why?
Well, I missed the first couple, right? And then the ones I could have seen when I was growing up, I heard they weren't very good. And now it's just to a point where I'm just going to stick with it.
Rocky IV was a cultural phenomenon.
I know enough about it. Like, I know that's the one with the Russian guy.
Yeah.
And I know number 3 had Mr. T.
Mr. T.
But I don't need to see him. I mean, that's all I need. So I'm good.
I have a poster from Rocky Balboa from the little speech hanging above my desk at home. Like that.
That really pumps you up.
Oh, man. Yeah.
I love that speech.
You ever run up the stairs?
I did. I have been in Philadelphia
yeah.
a number of times and have ran the stairs. Yes.
There you go.
Yep. I've got a picture by the statue and everything.
Wow.
So yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any of those things.
So this beer today, brought to us by Jessica Boyers, Philadelphia. It's called Philly Special IPA from Iron Hill Brewing. Here's what's interesting: Iron Hill Brewing started in Delaware, so not in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But they have locations in Philadelphia.
Okay.
Pennsylvania, which I assume, according to the list, and we'll get into that a little bit, is in Philadelphia. So.
Yeah, it's. I looked up Philadelphia for this episode today, and I didn't realize how much it was right on the edge of the state. Like, it's barely in Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah,
It's almost in Jersey.
it's the Omaha Council Bluffs to Philadelphia to Pennsylvania, New Jersey.
That's what it looks like. Yeah,
So it's an IPA.
it looks pretty good.
It
Smells really good.
Smells delicious. It looks hazy. I don't know if it is a hazy and what the actual style is.
I don't know.
Man, it
It looks different in your cup than it does in mine.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Somehow.
Yeah, it says it's a hazy IPA.
I think you have the real glass, old school glass. You know what I mean?
true. My Pizza Hut 8-ouncer. Yeah. How many?
Ooh, that smells amazing.
I'd love to know the history of this glass. Like
How many draft beers have been drank out of that
Yeah.
thing? Well, at least a few.
At least a few. Yeah.
Oh, it smells good.
Yeah, right?
All right. So before I get into Iron Hill, let's get into this beer and
Okay.
see.
Sounded good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man,
I like that.
right up my alley there.
Yum.
Ooh, okay. I know, yeah. That's
Yep.
nice.
Not bitter. Smells bitter. Has a little bitterness at the end. Not much.
Yeah.
Juicy, orangey. Oh,
Definitely citrusy and sweet kind of at the end. Yum.
Yeah.
No bite at all.
I feel like this would be something I would give somebody to try to get them into IPAs. I don't know.
I think so too.
It's really
Yeah.
good.
That's a gateway one for sure.
Yeah.
Yum.
So this brewery is like no other brewery we've talked about before.
Okay.
So their focus on like opening restaurants and brew pubs, like that's their thing.
Okay.
Like that's their and I'll get to it here at the end, but they have a timeline on their website. The very last entry on their timeline says they have a goal to have 20 restaurants and brewery locations by 2020.
And that's for this Iron Hill?
Iron Hill, yeah.
Wow, okay.
And so if you count the number of locations on their website, that was the last notation they had in 2018. So I was like, I don't know if they made it. But if you look at all their locations on their website, they have 20.
Wow.
So it appears they made it.
Hitting your goals. That's pretty
right.
cool.
They have 20 locations in Pennsylvania, Georgia, South Carolina, New Jersey, and Delaware.
Oh, so all over the coast.
All over the coast, up and down the
Okay.
coast.
Huh.
Iron Hill was founded in here's how it started. 1990, Kevin Finn, a Delaware local, receives his first homebrew kit from his wife for his birthday.
1990?
1990.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we've heard that before.
I was a sophomore in high school when this happened.
I was in 5th grade.
So how many times, we don't have enough hands to count.
Yeah.
How many stories start with husband gets a homebrew kit from wife for birthday and or Christmas?
Yeah.
Right?
Probably at least 50 times.
At least. His friend Mark Edelson takes an interest along with him, so he probably just hung out in the garage anyway and started homebrewing. 1994, they met Kevin Davies, an experienced restaurant professional, and they took the brewing out of Kevin's basement. They poured their first beer November 14th of 96 in Newark, Delaware.
So 2 years after they met.
2 years after they met, yeah. 97, they entered the first Great American Beer Fest and won for the first time. So first time they entered, they won.
Yeah.
They won gold for the Lodestone Lager, first of many, I guess after that they said. 98, they opened a second location in Westchester, Pennsylvania. Sounds like that's I don't know where Westchester is, but maybe this is the Philadelphia connection.
Yeah,
I don't know.
could be.
Each one of them has an on-site brewery. So this was the first one, and it has an on-site brewery.
Yeah, that's
so they're
cool.
brewing right there. So part of it is like they are super proud of like super fresh ingredients and as clean and fresh as possible.
Yeah.
Like that's their thing.
Well, then they don't have to ship it
Right.
also.
Yep. 2010, they entered the World Beer Cup for the first time and won Best Brew Pub. They won that again in 2014 and was runner-up only by a tiebreaker in 2016. So they're quite famous at the World
Yeah.
Beer Cup, which that's pretty freaking cool.
I mean, that's the world.
Right.
Right, yeah.
So this was on their website. As soon as you log in, and I just cut and pasted this whole thing because this is their creed, their motto. Creed, no pun intended. Rocky, get it? Creed, Apollo Creed.
Apollo, yeah.
There you go.
He died.
Apollo.
Well, it was pretty good.
Was that pretty good? That was
Yeah.
pretty good.
That was pretty good.
Well, you wouldn't know because you don't watch Rocky.
Well, I've heard his voice.
Apollo.
Sylvester Stallone is just, if you ever have the time to research him, he's amazing. His story is awesome.
The dude he's a genius. I mean,
That's a strong word.
It is. Am I wrong?
In his field, yes, I think so.
In his field.
Right. I mean,
Okay.
all the muscles
Sure.
and
Yeah.
aside, right? I mean,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
just he is.
Well, he wrote the
He's
story.
a
so-
really
Yeah.
good writer, and
Great writer.
That's where I'm coming from when I say in his field.
cinematic genius. How's that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it.
All right. So right on their website, nothing's more local than a beer brewed 10 feet from your table. Nothing's fresher than every dressing, every stock, every sauce made from scratch every day. Nothing's truer to who we are than letting our craft beers and handcrafted foods inspire one another in unexpected ways. And while we're the most award-winning brewery east of the Mississippi, we're not in it for fame or glory. We're in it because we love what we do, which is brewing beer, getting creative in the kitchen, and integrating our passion from tap to table. We're more than just a scratch kitchen. We're more than just a craft brewery. We're Iron Hill.
It's interesting that I've never heard of him before.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
Passion. That was
Most
a lot of passion.
award-winning brewery east of
That's
the
what I'm saying.
Mississippi.
So you'd think, I mean,
I don't
most
know
of the IPAs we talk about or
Yeah.
think about or wish we had are east of the Mississippi.
I don't know how you fact-check that, honestly.
I don't know. You just count up the awards, I suppose, somewhere.
So you've won more awards than Treehouse and Trillium, and
Well, they've been around a lot longer. Plus, they have their restaurant stuff too.
And you also got to think like, what kind of competitions are they entering in? Are they doing like the American beer, or are they just
JBL,
doing
yeah.
like counties? You know what I mean?
state, local,
Right,
whatever.
right.
Which I mean,
Well, they got World Beer Cup
yep,
couple, so
Yeah.
I don't know. If they have that many locations, I would tend to believe it.
yeah.
You don't have 20 spots if your beer's junk.
Here's what I know: drinking this right here,
Yeah.
like this ranks right up there with some East Coast beers that we've had.
Or even some West Coast. Like
It's really good.
I'd agree.
Juicy Bits kind of almost reminiscent to me a little bit.
them some strong words.
I'd drink. I'd put this one next to that and drink it.
I would
be
too.
happy.
I honestly would too. That's yeah.
Yum. This is one of those where I'm almost done with my beer before I've even started talking.
I can't wait
That
for you to
never
start
happens.
talking I can drink more of my beer.
Before you go into your research, can we
Yes.
talk about the can?
Yeah.
Like, what's on there?
All right. Well, there's a football,
Baseball.
and there's baseball, and there's Rocky's gloves, and there's a basketball. There's the Philadelphia Eagle. There's the Liberty Bell. It looks like
What's the?
that's Ben Franklin, probably.
I would assume so. There's the "Don't Tread on Me" flag, the snake
thing.
right? That's cut into 13 pieces.
There's a bridge, but I don't know what bridge that is. I'm not. That's not in my brain right now.
I should know. Is
City
is
of
that-
Brotherly Love. There's a heart. That's one of the nicknames of Philly.
I don't know the name of the building on the front. I've been to this building in Philadelphia, but I do not know the name of it.
Oh,
And I want to say Independence Hall, and that's not right. Because I believe that's in Boston.
I don't know, dude. I think you might be right.
Is that Independence Hall?
Yeah, because Philly was like the capital before D.C.
Before DC was, yeah.
You know who would know? I think she's from Philly. Kiana.
Kiana would know. That's
I
true.
actually wanted her to come in on this because of the research I did today, but she's busy and couldn't, so we didn't get a special
Please
guest.
tell me it's about the cheesesteak.
Nope.
Oh,
It's even
okay.
better. But
Okay.
I did write that down.
Independence Hall. Boom. Ask the Google
I
machine.
mean, haven't you seen the movie?
I've been here.
That's-
I mean,
yeah.
I've been to Philadelphia multiple
So was Nick
times.
Cage. He stole a copy.
Well,
Declaration of Independence.
yeah.
I didn't go into that either. So did you find out why it's called this? Special
Philly
IPA?
Special IPA? No, what's special about it?
It's named because they made it after the Super Bowl.
Oh.
And there was like, I don't remember the Super Bowl when Philly won, but apparently there was a trick play that was like a big part of the game.
Yeah.
So that's what it was named at, like because of some.
It's the
they
Philly
throw it to
special. Yeah, they threw it to Nick
Carson
Foles.
Wentz
To
or
Nick Foles.
somebody
Nick
or
Foles.
somebody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what the name comes from.
So that was the Philly Special? Like that was the
I guess.
trick, what they called the trick play?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why the name is what it is.
Kick ass.
So I thought that was kind of cool.
2 years ago.
That
they won,
was
right?
the
17, 18,
That was
17.
Yeah.
That wasn't last year.
No, because last year the
Patriots
Patriots
won.
won.
Oh yeah, against the
Yeah.
Rams. Yeah, 2 years ago. Yep.
Yeah. So and this came out last year, so that's why that's.
They'd been playing the Saints like they were supposed to. That we'll see that would
Yeah.
have turned out differently. However,
So I wrote down just 3 things off the top of my head about what makes Philly special. The first thing I put was Rocky,
Rocky, yeah.
so I knew that. Then I wrote Philly cheesesteaks, number 2. It's like we're playing Family Feud here.
And yes,
And third, I just wrote sports because they're one of those towns that has a major, football, hockey,
Yep.
baseball, basketball.
it's their hockey team, the Flyers.
Yes.
Okay.
So they've got everything as far as that stuff goes. And then I started thinking a little bit deeper down what Philly is for me. I've never been there, but it's a music city. It's kind of known for bands and musicians.
Oh,
And so we're going to get into that a little bit today.
Okay.
Obviously, because I have to.
oh, duh.
And then we're going to really get into it because I
Sweet.
narrowed down the music research into something more. So I'll just
Luckily,
start
it's a-
with some names, some band names and musicians,
It's a tall can, so we got lots of time.
and then you guys can tell me yes or no.
Okay.
And I kept the most current ones just that we're going to talk about now. So
Okay.
War on Drugs, know them?
No,
They're awesome.
really.
It's basically one dude. It's like if you like songs that have like 8 minutes of guitar in them, that's pretty sweet. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff.
Okay.
G Love and the Special Sauce.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Can I have a cold beverage? That's what we're drinking right now. That's one of their songs. The Dead Milkmen. Heard
Yes.
about them?
Oh, Beelzebubba.
Bitchin' Camaro, Punk
Yes.
Rock Girl.
Punk Rock Girl. I bought that tape when I was in high school, by the way.
Modern Baseball. You know these guys don't.
I love modern baseball.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There you go.
What style is that?
Alt indie rock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Japanese Breakfast is a band I like. She's from
Yes.
there. This band called Hop Along is from there. They're on Saddle Creek Records right now, and the lead singer of that band her name is Frances, and she has a solo record coming out on Friday. The Roots
Yep.
from there.
Yeah.
I don't know the roots.
That's Questlove's band. They're on Jimmy Fallon.
Jimmy
every night.
Fallon.
Oh,
the
gotcha,
dude with
gotcha,
the
gotcha,
afro on
gotcha.
Jimmy Fallon, yeah.
That's the Roots.
Yep.
Boys to Men.
That's right. They were Philly. Yes.
And then I wrote down some of the other ones, and this is kind of where we're going to go from here, but Hall & Oates from Philly.
Oh.
Holland Oats.
Hall & Oates.
I know the name, but I don't know.
Are you serious?
I know this is
my
bad.
Gosh.
Hall and Oates, not Holland Oates.
Yeah, Hall &
Hall
Oates. It's
and
two guys.
Oates. Yeah,
Daryl
yeah.
Hall and John Oates.
John Oates, yeah.
And another
just-
band I wrote was the Stylistics. You'll know that. We're going to get into it.
Okay.
And then this is a fun band to say. It's called the Hooters.
Oh,
They were
the
an
restaurant.
80s band.
Okay.
They had a few hits. American Bandstand premiered here in Philly.
Okay.
1956, Dick Clark, this TV show. That's where famous musicians would come on TV and lip sync their songs, and they did that all the way up until like the 90s.
Yep.
And that's kind of what, I don't know, it's kind of what put it on the map as far as, like Prince, when like his first TV appearance ever was on American
Was
Bandstand.
on Bandstand?
Yeah.
Oh.
And there's quite a few bands like that, and it was on for a lot.
Prince
So,
and the Revolution, or just Prince by himself? Or was it before the Revolution?
it was before that.
Oh.
It was like, 81.
Ooh.
So, like Dirty Mind album somewhere in there.
Pre-Purple Rain.
Yeah.
Wow. Early Prince.
Yep. And then what it's really known for, and this is one of the first things I ever talked about with Kiana and connected with her, was the Philadelphia sound, the Philadelphia soul music of the 70s. Like soul music, that's where it came from in the 70s.
Yep.
So started out like late 50s and the 60s. Detroit was the area. Motown was huge. And then this kind of took over Motown's like prominence, and all the hits and the bands and the groups were all coming from Philly.
Oh.
And there's a whole Philly sound, and we'll kind of get into that. So
I love 70s funk.
I love funk, soul, all that stuff, R&B.
Yep.
And that's what we're going to kind of get into a little bit today. So first of all, the biggest selling group out of all those that we talked about was Hall & Oates. Okay?
I would have
Hall &
guessed
Oates.
Boys to Men, but I guess you're right. Hall & Oates is probably, that's a good... Yeah.
They've sold 40 million records.
Okay.
They've had 6 number one hits, 34 charting hits, so that means it made at least the top 100.
Can we make fun of Dolan for a second that he doesn't
Yeah.
know who Hall & Oates is?
I bet you he knows some of the songs.
He knows the songs.
So let's say a couple of their songs, and then Dolan can say yes, he knows them.
Okay.
Oh
all right.
man, no! I am so bad with band names and song names. I have to hear it.
My wife could sing you these songs, actually.
Yeah.
She loves... They were here in at Stir 2 years ago, and we went.
Nice.
It was fun.
I've seen him
It was a good
before.
show.
I really like them.
Give me some song names here.
Rich Girl, Man
Rich
Eater,
Girl. Dun, 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 I know it's something,
Yep.
something.
Sarah Smile.
Oh, yeah. Man Eater. He's a man eater.
That was my first record that I remember ever playing
For
on
real?
my own. Yeah, it was Man Eater.
Well,
Let's see what else do they got. It's hard because I keep hearing it in my head. What's the song from that movie with Zooey Deschanel and Joseph Gordon-Levitt? 500 Days of Summer. That's the movie. The theme song from that movie was one of their songs.
Well, let's look up 500 Days of Summer. I've noticed that as I listen back to these, anytime we Google something, there's
Yeah.
like this weird pause as we Google stuff.
We're thinking it up.
Yeah. Like,
So Hall & Oates, that's the biggest selling one. But there's a lot of them that kind of came before that and influenced these guys. There's a band called Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, a band called the Delphonics, the Intruders, Danny and the Juniors. These are all bands out of Philly or around that area.
You Make My Dreams.
You make my dreams
you make
come
my
true.
dreams come true. Do, 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 do. That one? No?
no,
okay.
I gotta no.
I gotta tell you, there was a band called Mum-Ra on that soundtrack too. I need to hear that. Mum-Ra was
like,
the
like Thundercats.
bad guy on Thundercats. Yeah.
There was a songwriting group. So in Motown, Holland and Dozier were like the two dudes that wrote a lot of the songs for the bands and the groups.
Okay.
And in Philly, they had their own, and their names were Gamble and Huff, and they wrote a bunch of hit songs. Started in the late '60s. This song was called "Expressway to Your Heart," which I think is in. I think the Blues Brothers did a version of it one time. It kind of made it popular.
Okay.
There's a song by Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes called "If You Don't Know Me by Now." You'll Never Know Me. That
You
song's
will never know
That one?
me. Yeah, that one. Okay, good.
I'm Gonna Make You Love Me, which was done by the Supremes.
Yeah.
Love Train by the OJs. These guys wrote that song.
I love the OJs.
And then Me and Mrs. Jones. You know that song?
No.
Billy Paul.
No.
Oh, that's a good one too. Yeah.
Dolan, we gotta get you some. We gotta get you some '70s funk, man.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Ohio
I got
Players.
I got the
maybe?
playlist for you.
Oh yeah. George Clinton, Parliament.
Yeah, all
these
that
are not
stuff.
Philly. These are just. It's just '70s
Just that
funk.
that genre.
Bootsy Collins.
Well, that's some of that. That's kind of what made Philadelphia soul music, was because they kind of took in elements of all those other kinds of music. So basically, what a Philadelphia soul sound is, this is how they describe it with 3 different things. It's got a lot of hi-hat work. So
Okay.
that's a lot of hi-hat. The bass, they describe it as thumping. So it's driving the song. Not like disco, but it's just like it's there. It's prominent. You notice it. It's got bass lines and runs. And then it's got lush string arrangements. So if you hear something with some hi-hats and some violins and stuff, that's probably a Philadelphia soul song.
Interesting.
And that's what makes it up. So here's some other groups that came through there, recorded or from that area. And then these are other names that Dolan won't know, but you will. Patti LaBelle.
Yep.
The Spinners, which is my all-time favorite soul group of all time. Love the Spinners.
Oh, I need
They
to
did
listen
Rubber
to
Band
this.
Man song, and they did, let's see, what's one of my top 5 songs of all time? I'll Be There. I'll Be Around.
I thought "I'll Be There" was a Jackson 5 song.
Yeah, I think it's called I'll Be Around,
Oh.
off the top of my head.
I'll be around.
Yeah,
that one. Okay. Yeah.
Lou Rawls, he's from there.
I love Lou Rawls.
Teddy Pendergrass.
No.
Oh, man, he was big in the 80s. Archie Bell and the Drells was a band. Barbara Mason, she had a song called Yes, I'm Ready. That was a big hit.
Oh,
All those things. So they pumped out musicians and the tunes, and you can basically know that sound because of those 3 things that we talked about. So Philly is known as a soul town as far as music goes. And one of the things I have recently gotten into, I've just kind of figured out the last week or so, is Questlove has his own podcast that you can get on Spotify now. He used to have it on some other platforms, and it finally came to Spotify.
okay.
And he is like the authority on 70s soul music. Like, it's his, if you cut him, that's what would squirt out of him.
Really?
Like, he grew up watching Soul Town, and I think he has every episode. And there's thousands of episodes. I think he's got them all on tape.
Soul Train.
Soul Train, that's what I'm
Okay.
talking about.
I'm like,
Yeah,
I
Soul
never
Train.
heard. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so he knows every single one of those. He knows all the bands. He's been buying records or getting records since he was like 3 years old. His parents were really big into music, and so that's why I think a lot of times as a DJ and stuff, he was really good at finding those samples and stuff because he knew all those records.
Good deep cuts.
So he likes to talk about that stuff. So he's got a podcast where he talks to musicians and comedians and just other things. And I always like hearing him talk. He's really smart, and he just seems like a dude that you'd want to hang out with.
It's not on. It's not on Apple Podcasts.
I don't know if it is or not. It's called Questlove Supreme, but it's definitely on Spotify.
I'm gonna look this up. Questlove Supreme.
So I first kind of figured out how much he knew. There's this guy on YouTube, but he's a Canadian dude, and his name's Nardwar, and he does interviews. Do you know him, Dolan?
I've seen a couple of his videos.
Nardwar.
He researches so deep into like whatever band he's interviewing. Like he brings up one of my favorite bands that I listen to right now is called Superorganism.
Oh yeah.
And Nardwar interviewed them, and one of his gifts to them was a Scooby-Doo shirt that the lead singer wore. And so he found like another Scooby-Doo thing and like gave it to her. And she was like, how did you figure out, like, that's how far he goes into research for these bands.
And he is, I think, from Vancouver, and he's a huge rap guy. Like, he loves rap and R&B. And it was basically what helped promote rap music across Canada. And Vancouver was a big spot for rap to start. So he, like, since college has been listening to this music and just living music, and his interviews are crazy. So he has a couple with Questlove that I watched.
Okay.
And they're like 30 minutes long. And another thing that Nardwar does is he'll give you, or the people, he'll usually give them something that they're like, holy shit, how do you know I like this? How did you know about this?
Yeah.
Like super deep cut stuff. Like T-shirts from one of the things that Seth Rogen did an episode with him, and he brought a bag from a grocery store that Seth Rogen's mom used to shop at. Like, that's the depth. So people are like, what? Most of the celebrities don't know who he is because he's a Canadian guy, and they don't know. So they're almost like he's a witch. Like, he's like, how does he know this stuff? He's like mind reader.
I need to listen to this guy.
It's very cool, and he's nerdy looking dude, and the way he interviews is strange. It's like a performance art, and he's been doing it this way since, like, he interviewed Nirvana this way. Like back in the day.
Wow.
You know, like, so he's been doing this a long time.
A long time.
It's super cool to watch. Like I said, like, he was like, yeah, this is the Scooby-Doo t-shirt you wore at the concert like 5 years ago. And she's like, I don't even remember wearing that.
Well, you're a weird stalker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or the way he asks a question is he'll just say something.
Yeah.
Like, he'll say, Andre Dawson. And they'll be like, what? And he's like, Andre Dawson. And then the person has to be like, oh, I went to third grade with Andre Dawson.
Yeah.
Or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's like, he knows stuff and he makes them tell it. So it's
Interesting.
kind of cool. And that's how I figured out about Questlove. And he's from Philly and he knows about Philly soul. And that's our workaround. So that's what I got for us.
This explains a lot about maybe some Boys to Men, like the sound, their sound and stuff. Like, I think I always knew.
Yeah.
You know,
I think
they
they
were
were
from Philly.
one of the last Motown signings that actually did anything.
Yep.
Because Motown was kind of wrapped up in the late 80s, and that's when they kind of came on the scene. So they were like the last hurrah for Motown Records, as far as I'm aware.
Motown Philly back again.
That's right.
Doing a little East Coast thing.
That's why I love music so much. Like, just when you think you know.
Yep.
Or just when you think you know, there's so much more.
That you don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
I used to think I knew music 20 years ago. I used to think I knew what I was talking about. And now I'm light years past that.
And you probably still are.
Oh,
right?
I learn something new every day.
There's so much more to learn.
I find a new band at least one or two every day.
Cherry Pools. You need to look these
Cherry
guys
Pools.
up.
I'll have to check it out. I heard a song today that I absolutely loved. I thought it was probably 50 years old, and I learned it was released in 2018.
Huh.
Joshua Headley is his name. He's known as the Human Jukebox. He's a country guy.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so you never know what you're going to find with music. But I knew when we saw Philly, I was like, oh, yeah, this is one of my specialties. I love that 70s soul. And that's the stuff that Kiana grew up listening to in her household because they were from Philly. And so that was – she never heard of Hall & Oates either.
Yeah.
So when I first was working with her 6 years ago, I burned her a Hall & Oates like greatest hits CD and gave it to her, and she really liked it. So
Nice. This just came up not too long ago. I was there were some guys doing some work in my basement. You know, we were renovating our basement in the new house, and they were listening. What was he listening? He was listening to something, and there was a cut of Roller Coaster of Love. It wasn't like the new Chili Peppers version or whatever.
Was it George Clinton's version?
It was before that. It was Ohio Players.
Oh, yeah.
And I knew that.
Yeah.
And this dude was probably, I don't know, he was 55 plus probably. Old dude, beard or whatever. And he's like, what do you know about? I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Bootsy Collins played on this.
Yeah.
Like, that's how Bootsy brought it to George Clinton.
That funk,
and George Clinton did it, right? And then the Chili Peppers played with George Clinton. And then George Clinton, and then the Chili Peppers covered it for the Beavis and Butthead movie. Like, come on.
Got to trace it back.
Look, scrawny white guy knows about,
it's fun.
70s soul and funk. I love it. I love it.
It is one of those genres, like, it wasn't really playing in my house,
No.
growing up.
No.
Because usually you listen to what your age range is, you know? So, like, my parents were growing up, they were into 80s tunes because, like, they were young in the 80s, and that's kind of where I started. And that's how I knew about Hall & Oates, because they were a big 80s group.
Yep.
But then you start tracing it back, and you see, they opened for the Temptations at the Apollo Theater, and, like, actually got passed through, and, like, people loved them, and there was a big live album from it, and like, you know, they got cred. I read that they found each other. They were doing like a talent show in Philadelphia.
Okay.
This would have been the early 70s or late 60s maybe, and there was gang stuff, and there was like shooting in the place, and they both ran to the service elevator at the same time to like hide and get away, and that's how they met. And they're like, "Oh, what's your name? What are you doing here?" And then they became friends, and they been making music and money ever since.
Man, huh?
I mean, I guess that's a great first impression bonding moment, running for your life.
Yeah, high stakes.
As we finish off this can here before we get into the last of your research, I got to thank Jessica again for sending this to us because this is
Yum.
This is great.
It's very good.
We always gush about these or whatever. Like, at some point we're going to do a bad beer, and then we'll be like, "This is garbage. Get it out of here." This is fantastic.
It's so good that like my last drink, I could have finished it, but I left a little in my glass.
I do the same thing.
I saw you go for the last of the can. I'm like, oh no. Okay, we'll split it.
We did. Yeah. The other thing I thought about with Philly was Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh man.
But I think we can get to that some other day.
We could talk that's a whole podcast by itself.
It's the longest running sitcom in TV history.
If you're not watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, you need to.
Yeah.
It's if you appreciate comedy at
dark
all.
Comedy.
Dark.
Super dark.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so quotable.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, it is so good.
Yeah. Like this beer.
Just like this beer. I was
Just
going to say that.
oh my goodness. Yeah, I would
Wow.
go here. No, I'm going to save this last little bit. I'm going to drink it during the
They
last
sell
year.
this in 4-packs I saw online. So we just need to get to the East Coast and get some more.
We do. We need to go on we need to go to site visit there in Philadelphia.
I don't know if they're going to make this all the time or if this was just because of the Super Bowl. I don't know if it's like a seasonal sort of deal.
Canned on 12/10/19, so it was just canned.
I'm
a few months
guessing they're
back,
still
right?
making it then.
2 months ago.
Yeah. That's one of the fresher IPAs we get.
At 1:39. Doesn't say AM or PM. Well, okay, 13:39, so it's 1:39 in the afternoon.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dolan, you got any Philly stories for us? Wait, let's get to this. Philly cheesesteaks. Are you like a Cheese Whiz guy on the Philly cheesesteak, or
No whiz.
because
No.
that's how you do it? That's the standard.
No
Really?
whiz. Yeah.
Yeah.
No whiz.
See, it's all just normal cheese for me. Like, sliced cheese.
That's not how they do it there.
It's cheese whiz, man. It's
Really?
with whiz or without whiz.
Yeah.
No whiz.
Huh.
No.
Never had it that way.
I would try it.
I would try
Have
it.
you ever ate? You've been there, so you
Multiple
probably
times,
What are the two that are right next to each other? It's like
Geno's
and something else.
the other one across the street. I can't remember. Here's my favorite. Is at there's an old train station that's now like it's renovated.
Food
There's,
court in the basement. I see on TV before.
Yep. There's one right across the street from the convention center. And we'd go there was comic book conventions there in Philadelphia. Wizard World Philadelphia was every year. And we would go and you walk across the street and you eat. And if you didn't get there in time, when they ran out of bread, it was closed.
Oh, geez.
It was over. So if they ran out of bread at noon, they close. That's it.
Wow.
So you got to get there quick. And it was the best best cheesesteak I ever had.
Wouldn't you think you'd just have an emergency bread plan?
Like,
we could just be open for 8 more hours if we had a couple more loaves of bread.
I mean, when you make your day's money, like,
Yeah, but you can always get more money.
that's their thing, though. I mean, that's their shtick.
I guess.
When you run out of bread.
it's like the barbecue place in St. Louis that we went to.
Yep.
When they run out of ribs, done.
You're done for the day. Barbecue places are, that's pretty notorious for barbecue places.
Well, you can't just throw some in the microwave for that. I get that, but
Yeah, true.
but, the bread has got to hold up. In a cheesesteak, the bread has got to
it's
hold
like
up.
one of the most important parts.
Yes.
If you can always get it, then is it that special?
No. Right. We would
True.
intentionally skip things at the convention one day just to go and get a cheesesteak there.
At this brewery, they had Philadelphia cheesesteak egg rolls. I saw on their menu.
Oh.
That looked pretty good.
I would say that's an abomination, but
No way.
I guess
I feel like it's like the Philly cheese taco that we had on Taco Tuesday that one time. It might be a little
Yeah.
gimmicky.
I don't know.
I
eat it.
I would eat it.
Yeah, me too.
Definitely.
I would try it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I meant that. I meant no harm. No.
I'm a sucker for gimmicks. Like I'll try it, and I'm always like 95% of the time I'm pretty disappointed. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I would do it like the Cheez It pizza thing.
Gross.
It was pretty
Gross.
nasty. But guess
Yeah.
what? The gimmick drew me in.
That's an abomination right there.
Yeah, it is.
As a pizza guy,
Oh, yeah.
you should not try
hurts
this
me.
because it's gross.
Yeah. Yep.
Barstool Sports.
Oh yeah, he hated it. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Awesome. I keep bonking into the mic.
Watch out there. I think that's all I have for you.
I don't want to finish this.
Well-
Nope, that's it. No more research after this. Is that?
That's all I got for this one.
Oh, wow. I thought we'd get into a little deeper cut there, but
Well,
look,
I've-
it's been busy. I know you've been busy.
Yeah, I've been crazy busy.
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to say is Philly, as far as sports goes,
Okay.
they're known as like the best worst fans. Like they were booing
true.
Bryce Harper like game 2, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So what's your least favorite Philly team?
Oh man, I mean, God, that's tough. I like the Celtics because of Paul Pierce, right?
Yeah.
A Kansas basketball guy. So
Yeah.
and he was the truth. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, he was fantastic.
Yeah.
So you can't not like Paul Pierce. I think it's tough. I mean, it's got to be the Phillies, I guess. I never had a problem with the Eagles necessarily.
Some people just hate them.
Yeah.
I don't know. They don't really affect me too much.
There's a huge backing behind that because of Vic and
Yeah, true.
that
I
whole
guess.
thing. So
I grew up with like Randall Cunningham and Reggie White, Jerome Brown on the Philadelphia Eagles team.
Yeah.
Like that's what I had.
Yep.
So
Yeah. Yeah, I'd probably see the Phillies, and maybe more so remember like late '80s, Juan Samuel and
Vaughn Hayes. Remember
Vaughn
that dude?
Hayes, that big old lanky guy.
Yeah.
Mike Schmidt.
Mike Schmidt, Hall of Famer.
Yep.
Yeah, they had some good players. Steve Carlton pitched for them for a while, remember?
Juan Samuel was the guy at about the same time as Ryan Sandberg, and they always compared the two, like national leaguers, right, and
Yeah.
whatever. And Samuel didn't hold a candle to
No.
Ryan Sandberg, none. But they didn't have anybody else to compare him to at the time.
Yeah.
Rhino was the the guy at second base during that mid to late '80s time
Sure,
frame.
yeah, he sure was. There really wasn't anybody else.
No.
what's Untapped say about all this?
Ooh, yeah, good call.
Good question, Dolan.
I'm curious because
I bet you it's high.
I would rank it high.
I bet you it's got a lot of check-ins.
I got one little drink layer left, and I haven't finished it off yet because I don't
No,
want
you're fine.
I don't want it to end. Philly special.
You know who I like that played for Philly while you're looking that up?
Who?
Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
I love him. I love him as a basketball player, and I love him more as a personality.
The round mound of rebound.
That's right.
All right, so I figured the only way I'm going to get back on Untapped is to do it
Yes,
during the podcast.
good idea.
Do it. Okay. 7,642 check-ins.
That's not very many.
Pretty low. What do you say?
I'm going to say 4.12.
4.3.
3.84.
We liked it more than some.
It looks like it's interesting.
Yeah, 3.84.
Tons of so you can click into it a little bit and you can kind of see 140 ratings at a 4, 900 ratings at 3.75. So it's right in there. Like that seems about right.
I'll take a picture of it.
I'd go like a 4.25 on this, quite honestly, because that's
I think I probably will land there as well.
as IPAs go, as hazy IPAs go. This
It was
is
good.
pretty fantastic. So
I mean, it was so good that the first drink, I knew it was good. You know, sometimes you have to get into it a little bit. This one, I was instantly like, yep, I'm going to drink this one.
there you go.
It was yummy.
So your homework assignment now is to watch some Rocky movies.
I'll just watch Always Sunny again.
Oh man.
Rum Ham. Come back. Rum Ham.
All right, finish it off. Jessica Boyers, thank you so much for sending this beer
Yeah,
to
it was
us.
great. Thank you.
If you are there again anytime soon, we will gladly take another one of these.
Yep.
Or two or a 4-pack.
Yeah, we would take that, yes.
Yep, exactly so. All right, Brian, we're not going anywhere for a while.
Let's have another beer.
Thank you for listening to A Beer with Atlas. Special thanks to our brand team for producing the show. Each episode of A Beer with Atlas is powered by Atlas MedStaff, an industry leader in travel healthcare staffing.